Hello and welcome to Internet Dragons TV. This is Roger, and I've got a Nino Kuni video for you today. It's going to be on leveling up your familiars. Now, if you have been playing for a little while, quite likely you have a team that you're used to, but you may want to incorporate someone new into your team of familiars to battle with, but then be kind of put off by the idea of having to level them up all the way up to the same levels as you have for your other team members. There's a way to get around that that's actually quite fun and doesn't take that long. Also, if you are actually relatively new to the game, as long as you've gotten your ship, you can also do this. So what I did is I actually went out and I got a pet here. As you can see, I already have one of the cats last transformation, but I wanted to try I think it winds up being the Puss in Boats or something like that. But so I'm going to be taming him and then going from there. So I've got with me actually my son as well, which people have heard him before in other podcasts, and his name is Tristan, of course. And he's been playing this game like crazy as well. We both have, although he has not had the same luck as I had in taming familiars.
About 6 hours straight of no familiars, then you get one. Then apparently none of the others like me as well. So, know that heart that shows that they like you? None of them do that.
Okay. Well, I bring out the best in people, apparently, because they like me. So as you can see here, I got the cat, and I just, again, was using him as an example of how quickly you can level. So now where I'm going to be going is to an island that is off to the side on the eastern side of the map. Now, as you can see, I save quite often as well in the game, and you are going to need to get used to that as well when you are doing the actual power leveling, because you're saving and exiting and then coming back again to see about getting certain mobs to appear for you, certain familiars to appear, because they grant you a lot more experience. So I've equipped my cat there, as you saw, into one of the team members so that he can get the experience. Now, I have Tengri here, the most awesomest mount ever in any game, and he's going to fly us quickly to where we need to go. Now, like I said, if you have the boat already, which is relatively early once you've finished the Castaway Cove quest, then you can also just take the boat and sail over to this island.
Yeah, all you have to do is keep on the eastern shore and follow the rock line, and you can get there in no time, or just repeatedly look at your map and you can get there even faster.
Okay, here is where we are going. As you can see there on well, it's not quite eastern, but it's right towards the top. And it's very specifically this island. This is where you want to be. And there are 4 mobs that spawn there. Now, you see here where I'm saving. This is important, like I said, because you are going to be basically loading the game, looking on the map to see whether or not the specific mob is there. And if so, go for it, attack it, and then save again. If it's not there, then you want to just basically exit game and load again. Now, as you can see here, I'm actually going to let it go through the entire process so you can see how long the process takes. It's not very long at all. And you want to make sure that you save after every attack. Now, on this map, there are 4 spawn points for familiars. You're going to see all of the familiars that are given to you in the game, like the little mighty and the stupid monkey things, and what's the other one? I can't remember the name.
Sprite.
Right. And then the important one, however, is the Toko. And we'll get to that in a second. So you see here in the picture how I mapped out where there's the 4 spawn points. And of course, there has to be bush all the way around them, which makes it a little tricky to see whether or not the mob that you want, which is that Toko, is there. It wasn't, so you saw how I exited out. So all you have to do is quickly exit, load the game back up again. And again, you can see that it takes seconds. And then as soon as you are loaded back up again, you can look on first on the shore, you'll see the guy on the right-hand side, and that's fairly quick. You'll see which one that is. And then you can move up the shoreline a little bit to look at what the other 3 are. Bingo. This is the guy that we want. Now, you have to be very careful with him because he has the fastest run speed of any of the creatures. And there he is, Toko. that little yellowish greenish guy. And here I surprise him, so I get to make the first attack. So I use, again, my cat because he attacks so bloody fast, and that way I don't have to worry. But if you're not fast, he will run away on you during the fight, and you will lose all of the experience that he can give. Now, this is what's important. Watch this. Isn't that just a thing of beauty? So he jumped from level 1 to level 14, my brand new guy, plus that Dragoon, which is, if anybody has it knows, levels so painfully slow. Boom, level. There is my brand new cat, and he made it from 1 to 14 with one mob. So then, of course, head back to the beach, and you can save there if you want, or you can have a quick look. So look at the 3 spots, and what do we see at the top?
There's another Togo.
Okay, so now you have to be careful here, again, with the guys that are in the bush here. And I chased one, and it disappeared.
Seed Sprite, actually.
That was a seed sprite? Oh, okay. But it's the same principle. The other guys will do that. So you want to make sure, too, that you're careful when you are looking at what is in the bush, because they can actually get in the way and cause your Toko to run away. And so you saw how you just ran away. When that happens, don't just stop moving. Run in the opposite direction, because you really want to make sure that there's no chance he'll see you. So another surprise attack, and let's see what we get here. So, like we were saying, we've got the little mighty guy and then the Thumbler, whatever we call it. Always go after that Toko first. If you have an ability that interrupts as well and does the little cinematic, use those, because that'll stop them as well if they're running away.
But the most angering thing is actually that cut loose, because if you don't get to them fast enough, or they're looking at you, and the might does that, it gives the Toko enough time to, once you pop back in, it can get out before you're able to catch it.
Yeah, I had that happen several times, and it is really a pain in the butt. So looking again, boom. Another 2,338 experience, and our new cat jumped up 4 levels to level 18. And again, this is just 2 fights. That's all that is. Now, the bonus, of course, too, is that it levels up all your other characters, and it levels you up as well. And now we know that the one in the second bush there is actually, what is that, a seed sprite, I believe? So we're not going to worry about it. Now, there is on the... now, here is where... Okay, I'm going to be saving. I don't know if I was smart enough, actually, to first let me see the mob. And it's actually Tristan who's the one that was telling me that if something is chasing after you, let it catch you anyways. There's no harm in it. And you might be surprised by
another Togo showing up in the fight. And as you were walking by, you actually see the sparkly thing.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. We'll get okay. So yeah, here's, like he was saying, you might get a Toko. In this case, there was none. It's not a big deal. You just have to do an exit right away. Now, you saw how I'd saved first. You want to do that, of course. But I just exited out. You don't have to worry because the mob's reset, as you know. So we're just going to load it back up again and see if there are any others on the beach. Now, he was saying something about next to, in that second bush, the second path of bush there, you see some sparkles.
The sparkles actually... Oh, another Togo. But... the sparkles actually, if you've played, you know that it means an item is there. But if you have the talk speed, the writing speed set to the lowest, and you pick up an item, while it's writing what you've picked up, all enemies on the map are frozen. So if something's running after you, it gives you enough time to run around and hit them in the back. If a Toko's running away, it gives you enough time to actually catch up to them before they run away.
Yeah, so you want to use that wisely and don't just keep using it kind of thing if you don't have to. Now, you see here at the top how I actually have a Toko, level 2, and that's because I actually lucked out before I was recording this video and I managed to get one. Tristan's basically been trying forever and still hasn't gotten a single one.
It says beside, if you look at how many you've defeated, it shows how many you've defeated. So I have defeated 213 Tokos, and I haven't gotten a single one.
I was lucky and I got mine. Now the Toko levels very, very, very slowly. If you have that Dragoon, you saw how that levels slowly. It pales in comparison to the Toko. The Toko is a lot slower, and it actually doesn't level up to as high a level. It gets its abilities with the lower levels, and then from there it's actually one of the more powerful, or one of the best familiars you can have. It's actually rated as one of the best. There's what are the different metamorphoses for that sucker?
Yeah, it's Toko, Toko, which I think you have on the video.
Yeah, I should.
Toko Tokehold, which is seeing a trend, but it's actually found a lot later on in the Ivory Tower. If you haven't been there so far, you don't know what I'm talking about, but it's in not the first floor, but the second floor you get to.
Yeah, so there are a few metamorphosed familiars of the Toko that you'll come across, but not very many. So this is the first level when it hasn't yet metamorphosized into anything. The second one we will show a little bit later on, and then the third one is in that towards the end of the game when you are in that final tower. And now the thing to keep in mind too is that each of those as well gives yet more experience, so you really want to be looking out for these. But again, this is how you're going to start with the Tokos. You're first going to go to this island. Here you can level them out to quite a high level, actually, including all of your other familiars. Once you are high enough level, then you're going to proceed to the other spot where the next phase of the Tokos spawn, as well as some very interesting creatures there, one of which especially you'll want at least one, if not two of, so that you get each of the final metamorphosized versions, because they actually have abilities that are quite useful. But we'll get to that a little later on.
And actually, talking about the experience points, the first Toko gives you 2,000 experience points, so that is a huge jump. But the second one gives 8,000 per Toko. So
actually, it was closer to 9,000 when I was doing it. It was over 9,000. Wow. We'll see when we get to the video, but yeah, it depends on your level as well and stuff. So, but yeah, they give off an insane amount of experience when compared to the other ones. The final ones are something around 20,000. Yeah, 24,000 for the final ones. I only actually bumped into one or two. I think one actually in the Ivory Tower, and because I've actually finished the game myself, and I've only bumped into the one that was there. But it was a phenomenal boost in experience still before going up against those final bosses, which I don't want to spoil any of that for anyone. So the other thing to keep in mind, like I was saying, is that you want to make sure that you are being careful when you are you're being attacked, that you are immediately going after that Toko. You see here, I'm just going to get rid of these so that I can keep going. I actually don't want to exit and save because there's a Toko on the other side that I want to get to. So you will have to go through some of these lower level battle kind of things with these guys here. Again, it's still providing experience. You're getting items that are being stolen by Swain, so it's not a waste of time. Don't think of it that way. And as you're leveling up so fast that they go down so quickly, it's not a big deal. You want to make sure that you have some good DPS, obviously, which is again why I'm using that cat, and he's fairly well decked out. And then, if at all possible, you want to use familiars that are doing a lot of AoE damage. That way you're putting everybody down fairly fast so that you can proceed to the important stuff. Now, the other thing to keep in mind here, oh, Jesus, see, and I have to do this fight because if I don't, he's going to chase after me while I go to the Toko. But the benefit is, obviously, look it, a Toko came with that freaking might. So here, again, make sure that you go after the Toko. Now, there was oh, see, little bastard, see, now he's interrupting me.
Yeah, that's...
And there he goes, look it. And there's nothing I could do. It happens so fast that you have nothing. There's no recourse. In some cases, you can do an interrupt a spell that has a little cinematic. If there's one that you can do that's quick, then you can try that. But you also have to be fairly quick on your feet because it's going to happen fast. You see him dashing and then poof, he's gone.
Yeah, the two most annoying things are cut loose and actually finding multiple Tokos. Because when you first see it, it's a, oh my god, multiple. Then it's a, how am I going to get them both? If you get however a lot of AoE, you might be able to burn them down fast enough, but otherwise, focus all on one and hope you can get them both down.
Yeah, that does happen sometimes. I don't know if I have a video that shows where I've actually gotten a couple, but it does happen. And it's phenomenal when you get them both because you're looking at that point of getting like 45 or more 100 experience. That's an insane amount of experience to get at this level. And but more often than not, you will probably lose one. So try not to worry too much about getting them both, just because if you do that and you're not using the proper spells, you can actually lose them both as well.
Yeah, I have only gone it once and only seen it once, but I saw a triple Toko, and I was literally cheering, then wait a second. So I got the first one, and by the time I got the very first one, the other two had both gotten away, So
as you can see here, we've only actually been speaking for about 16 minutes so far, and you can already see how we have gotten a number of levels off of the brand new cat that we got, and we have already encountered 3 or 4 Tokos already. Now, granted, yeah, there's some splicing going on here and there, but still, this is how it actually is when you're doing this. You will be getting them this quickly. I mean, you may come into some bad luck where you don't see any for a little while, but again, because you are doing a quick save and a quick exit every now and again when there are none around, it's really quite fast.
if you actually look at the spot where he saves and exits and comes back too, you see that it's at a sort of point. If you walk into there, you can keep walking until you get to the end of the point. Then whenever you get back, none of them see you. That's one of the only places on the island where they all spawn, but none of them can see you.
Yeah, the one to keep to remember is that one that is, well, the two actually that are in the bushes, number 2 as well as number 3, because as you are on the beach, they will actually spot you if you are more towards the middle. Now, here is where this was important, and I wanted to make sure that we saw this. When you are in the battle, I should have done this immediately, but I didn't think of showing it, so that's why I'm showing it later on. You want to make sure that you change the preferences so that everybody is attacking the leader's target. So that means whoever I'm attacking, everybody else targets as well. You actually don't want to worry about keeping us healthy and stuff like that. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. Better to set everybody to attack your target. That means that when you're attacking a Toko, guess what? Everybody else is as well.
And make sure to press triangle once you get that, so that once you attack the Toko, everyone attacks the Toko with their best as fast as they can.
Yeah, because the triangle will give you all-out damage, whereas the square is the defense. So you want to make sure that everybody is hitting as hard as possible. So as you can see here, I already got one at the end of the beach. So we're going to do a save and exit because the others aren't Tokos. Very quick, very easy to do.
And actually, there's a spell called Veil. And if you do the Horus quest line, which Vince talked about in a separate podcast, you can get this ability called Veil, which makes you invisible. So this is extremely useful when fighting Tokos, because that way they don't run away because they don't see you. So you're able to get behind them easily and take them out before they disappear.
Yeah, that one there comes a little bit later on, but if you've been playing for quite a while, and again, you're doing this so that you can power level a couple of familiars, then you may very well have it. As you see, obviously, from the beginning of this video, I did not have Veil, and actually, I don't believe I recorded anything where I did, even when I was going up against the next level of the Tokos, the Tokos. But I did have Veil shortly thereafter, and then obviously when by the time I was working on the at the Ivory Tower, I had it, and it is one of those indispensable abilities for when you want to power level, because it just makes it so much easier. Now, what winds up happening is that you don't fight through some encounters where, as we saw here, it just happens that the Toko comes with the other familiars. So sometimes it is better to actually run through and not worry about the veil. But if all you want is just strictly hurry up and get a couple of the Tokos, then yeah, the veil is very useful. Like you said, that is something that you get when you are doing the quest with Horus, and he is that ghost, the spirit that appears in Ding Dong Dell, and he is, you can find him and obviously find out more about it. And yeah, Vince did talk about it as well. Horus is phenomenal. You get some great quest lines with him. So I'm trying to get to this stupid Toko, as you can see here, and it does sometimes take a little while because he just keeps spotting you all the time and you have to keep running away. And see, look at how much time I wasted there. And I was far enough away from him. I'd even moved a little away from him, but it wasn't enough, and he took off on me, the bastard. So I'm gonna save here, exit, and then go, and then see what comes next. Okay, I want to actually show this battle just ever so quickly because I had, like I said, I had that Toko, so I decided, what the hell, let's just see just how good he is at his current level. And you will see shortly that he takes a hell of a lot of damage. Now, granted, I hadn't given him the best gear either, but yeah, he does take quite a bit of damage. But again, he had not yet leveled that much, so he definitely improved later on. But I made certain to get rid of him and go back to my DPS cat.
He actually later on gets very, very high magic defense. So one of the highest, actually. For level 4, he was having higher than my level 70s. But other than that, he actually isn't... He doesn't do very much damage or magical damage. But actually, he can take out enemies like crazy with sleep, stun, and putting them into blindness.
Yeah, so he's a good crowd control familiar to have with you. And if you are being hit by a creature that has a lot of magical attacks, then he is especially good. Oh, and what a nice hit that was.
And actually, on one of his final metamorphoses too, he gets an ability that revives teammates from the grave. So if you keep it on one of your tank so that your character doesn't die very much, you can revive everyone else and keep them alive.
Now, that is something that we were going to talk about with the what are they called? The
Aurora Links.
Yeah. So they are the ones that you get when you are, if you're going to be going towards the second level of the Tokos for more experience. Once you're a little bit higher, those are the cats that you really want to make sure to tame at least one or two of. So we're actually going to be, I think we're going to be splicing through to that just about now so that we can talk about that. Now, I did want to look at the cat. He was up for some more abilities that he got, but he can also be metamorphosed already. And look at, again, we're at 24 minutes here, 23 and a half minutes. And already, boom, we're looking at next level for the cat.
Which is actually amazing for getting just random things. Like if you look through your Wizard's Companion and find something that you say, I want that one. Just find the low level thing and you can get it all the way up, get all the spells, get the awesome looking thing for yourself.
Yeah. Okay, so here I am on Tengri again, and I am right by Perdita. Now, if you've done all the questing, you'll have the fast travel, Perdita. You'll have the fast travel so that you can just bounce there, or you can take Tengri, or you can, again, just take your ship and go to the point where you kind of run up to it. Obviously, the fastest way is using Tengri. Now, save right at the top, like I'm doing here, so that you can do your exit and restarts, and then go from there. So like I said, there's the cats that are important, but also you have the madcap here, who is one of the better familiars to have as well. I use the nightcap. That's my capo right there. Capo, whatever. But and he's one of my favorites, and he is one of the best as well if you look at the top familiars. But if you don't have one of them, you can get the madcap. These are actually very fast creatures as well, familiars, and some people have had a lot of hard time taming them because they are so fast. Now the other one is that one of the cats, I believe?
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of them. So actually tell them why these cats are so important.
These cats, one, they're awesome looking. But two, in their final stages, they have amazing dual
Capabilities.
capabilities.
I'm keeping that in there.
Oh god. But together, one side lets you revive any teammate from the grave. So you keep that on your tank, then you can bring them back. Then the other has a full health. So you revive, switch, full health, and suddenly you have your, in like final bosses, you have your 400, like 500 point heal immediately to keep going.
Yeah, they're very useful to have, so that's why I suggest on getting one of each. Now here you see there the cat that I wanted in the final stages, they're actually there, and sometimes you can get a chance at taming them. But the important ones again are those, what are the final names of those cats anyways?
The Aurora Lynx and the Dua Lynx.
Okay, now here we have the Toko Toko. You can see how it's the same shape except a darker shade of green. Now you want to make sure to definitely tackle that sucker right away. Sometimes the other creatures will block it, so you can't get in melee range, and then what happens is that makes it easier for him to eventually disappear. So you want to make sure that some of your creatures have at least attacks that are ranged and not just the melee attacks. So this is what's beautiful with this one. Watch this. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, look at that. 9,021 experience off of one Toko. Everybody levels up off of that. Boom. Here's another one that I found. And this is where you see the problem, because it is a problem. Don't kid yourself.
So, aiming at the left one, you're able to do Ray of Light and do a few hits on it. But I don't know if there's...
And boom, he's gone.
He's gone.
Now, the other guy already ran away while I was attacking the first one. So I go after one. If I'm not fast enough to kill it, to take it down, not only have I lost that one, but I've lost the other one as well.
And these enemies are actually one of the few enemies that you get happy when they attack you. Because some of them, instead of running away, they charge to you, which it's just amazing.
So yeah, so missed out on, again, 20,000, well, 18, maybe 19,000 experience lost in that one fight. So this is where, when you see two of them, if you have a pet that does a lot of AoE, if you have a couple of pets that do a lot of AoE damage, like my Nightcap actually does with his light, what is it, Mighty Light, I believe, or something like that, then you want to be using those abilities, because otherwise you stand a very good chance of losing them, like I did. So that's actually everything in terms of experience for those two, and where to find those Tokos and the Toko Tokos. And then from there, if you're lucky enough to actually tame one, it's hard, but it is possible. And again, I'm just showing here how to get to the island if you are just using your boat, and basically how long it takes. It doesn't take very long anyways. So like I said, there's the ones that are off of that first island at the north there on the eastern side. What's the name of the island again? I can't remember.
Swan Island.
Swan Island, that's right. And then there's the ones that are by Perdita, which by then you should also have your veil, so you can wander around with the veil, which makes it a lot easier.
And they're in a valley, so if you save at the top of the valley, you can walk all the way to the bottom, save at the bottom, walk all the way back up to the top, and just follow that same path and find tons fast.
Yeah, and again, those cats are there that you want to get for your revive and for your heal. So you'll want to make sure that as soon as you get one of those, you go ahead and and equip them so that they start leveling off these tokos. Now you can see the advantage to going on the boat as well, as you can see immediately if there are any tokos, and look at that, there's one right there on the beach. So that's actually very handy. And so yeah, so you're looking at the tokos there, the tokos in by Perdita, and then the last ones are in the ivory tower. Now those there, I mean, you can grind the ivory tower for the final version if you want, although by then you're pretty close to the end of the game and you might not want to be wasting your time with that unless you plan on doing all of the side quests as well, which are phenomenal, but not everybody's going to want to do that.
And if the final boss is just a little bit too hard for you, you can go a few saves back, then just fight in the ivory tower until you get those few levels up.
Yeah, the tokos that you'll find in the Ivory Tower are very handy for a variety of reasons, not just because of the obvious being able to have a chance at having them, but the leveling up before you meet the final bosses, those final encounters. Because once you head into those, there's not a lot of chances to kind of head back and just level yourself up. So you want to make sure to take care of that beforehand. So that's going to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed the video. It sure should help you while you are leveling up those familiars of yours to get to those final battles. If you have any questions, you can leave comments here or on the site. Of course, you can get more videos at internetdragons.tv. Follow us here, and you can also follow us on Twitter at internetdragons. Thanks a lot.